Karibuni sana. This is a hub of greatness where you get to learn more about life, the questions that are more tough to you than ever before. And today I'm graced with a very young man in the house who is also a technocrat in a way. So before further ado, let let you introduce yourself to the people watching us.
Oh, awesome. So, hey everyone, my name is Wycliffe Osano. I'm a developer relations and community manager at HackQuest. And based on my experience, I've had a very solid tech background. Previously worked with previous blockchain ecosystems, but currently I'm a full-time dev rel at HackQuest. Yeah, so it's glad to be part of the session, and I'm looking forward to an engaging session.
Tell me a little bit about your background. Tell me something about your background, your upbringing, before we get to the tech world.
Yeah, amazing. So I was lucky. I was lucky because my entire journey I've been on the tech space, and coming back from a degree in cybersecurity and advanced digital forensics at KCA University along Thika Road. Yeah, so that's when we got to learn about blockchain and the likes of Bitcoin. But at first, everything seemed to be a little bit confusing because most of us are just familiar with the normal tech programming languages. But for Bitcoin, that was a new stuff for me. Even I remember back then in campus, like the Bitcoin classes, we were a class of 50, but during the Bitcoin classes, like it's only 5 of us or 10 of the students attending. Au wengine wanasema 20 tuwasainie. Yeah, so that was, it was typically like a self-driven journey for me because back in second year, after reading the Bitcoin document and the Bitcoin white paper, I realized like this is the path I want to follow. Because coming from a cybersecurity, most of the students were just focused about hacking and all these offensive security stuffs. But my path after reading the Bitcoin white paper, I'm more like, this is the life I want to live. I want to contribute to Bitcoin because ideally on Bitcoin, there is no governance and there is no, like you're your own boss. Yeah, so that was something really solid for me. And coming fourth year again, we had another unit called blockchain technology. And we got to learn about how to contribute to the Bitcoin protocol. And it became now a little bit technical on how to build on blockchain, how to create decentralized applications, and how to contribute to Web3 ideally. Yeah, so that has been my journey. I got to be onboarded in Web3 and blockchain through campus, and I was really lucky because a few universities actually offer the blockchain unit. Yeah, so I was among the lucky guys. Yeah.
So there's someone listening to us right now anasikia ukitaja Bitcoin, anasikia ukitaja blockchain, anasikia ukitaja cyber security. May you break it down to us in a more simple language kwa yule mwananchi wa kawaida mwenye watch ajue Bitcoin ni nini?
Yes.
Let's start with Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, I can talk of Bitcoin as the first truly digital asset to be created by cryptography. Yeah, so that's another technical term.
It's another technical term.
Yeah, so let me just give our viewers a bit of a journey about how all these current emerging technologies came about. So kwa internet kuna kuanga na a phase known as the internet revolution. So the first internet revolution was called Web 1, and the second internet revolution was called Web 2. And the recent one now, which is blockchain and all these cryptocurrency, it's known as Web 3. So just to break the difference, Web 1 ilikuwa all about reading whatever is being presented on the screen. Like kitambo, hata if it was Google or any other website, ulikuwa tu unaweza kuangalia. You couldn't search or Google anything. So that was Web 1.
Computer was all about reading.
Ilikuwa tu display, kitu inaonyeshwa hapo as viewers ni kuangalia. Huwezi type ati let me search this. You couldn't do that in Web 1. And there was need for more because users wanted to like also search on something. Research was like research was a concern, so they had to migrate to Web 2. But you see now Web 1 was all about reading only whatever is being presented on the screen. But so unapata Web 2, there was need to read and also write. Yeah, to search things and also just to have an overview feeling on research and everything.
There's where Google came in.
That's where Google came in, and the likes of Facebook, kina Instagram, hapo ndio watu a lot of development ikakuja. So Web 2 was all about read and write. But remember, you are reading and writing, but Facebook is in control and Google is in control of our database and our details. So there was a single point of control. All these it was really great, but ideally unapata proof of ownership of our data was a concern at the time. Because unapata like anything you post was being stored on the Facebook database, Instagram database, Google database. So the developers for Web3 at the time, that was Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2009.
He's a Japanese guy, right?
I cannot say he's a Japanese or ideally kuna traces, a bit of traces and conspiracy theories zinasema Satoshi Nakamoto was a Chinese, but I think for me, the way your tech stack, it's massive. I feel like it was contributed by like a majority. It was a wide range of people from different geographic locations, and part of it was Chinese, Asia. I think for me, from my understanding, unaweza pata Satoshi was a group of people, and some of them were also in Africa, because Africa is a big player and a big contributor.
But one person carried the mantle.
Yeah, one person carried the mantle because Abu foresee the vision of whatever he wanted to build. Yeah, and ideally, for Web3, that is now Web3, how it all came about. So Web3 was all about read, write, and own your data. So there is no single point of ownership in Web3. Because ukiangalia the likes of the banks, the moment let me just use M-Pesa because it's widely used by most Kenyans. So unapata M-Pesa, the moment I'm sending money to the receiver, M-Pesa itself on their end, they first have to open a ledger entry, what debit my account, now credit the receiver. So it's the mandate of M-Pesa to open the ledgers, which is very, very, very crucial, and that's why Bitcoin and blockchain came to exist. Because on Bitcoin, the moment you open a transaction, the ledger is created on your side. You're the one creating the ledger. And there is no single party or intermediary in between to manage the transactions. That's why unapata bank sometimes ukituma pesa abroad or when it's coming, unapata it takes around 72 hours. Na kama ni weekend, it can also go to a week to process the transaction. But on blockchain and Web3, transactions are instantaneous, and it's a massive innovation, and we feel that it's really important for Africa on a global scale to not just become a bystander in this movement, but to become a leader in this blockchain ecosystem. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Now that is BTC.
Yes.
Now another term you're using, Sana, cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Yes. What is cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity, just from the word itself, cybersecurity is the act of safeguarding information systems, and be it networking systems, be it communication systems, is the act of safeguarding computational systems. Yeah. So that's just a basic analogy of cybersecurity.
Very good. And the last one is blockchain.
Yes.
What is blockchain?
Okay, amazing. Another fantastic question. Yeah. So blockchain, ideally, just by the words, it's a collection of blocks. And a block.
Before you say much about blockchain.
Yes, correct.
You've started by saying that it's blocks.
Yes.
I think I've had lessons about these blockchains a couple of times, but I've failed to understand what really blockchain is. So if I couldn't understand, that mwananchi wa pale nje anafai understand in the simplest way possible.
Yes.
So I want you to break it down the simplest way someone can understand. A layman can understand back at home.
Yes. Oh, amazing. So let me add a bit of Kiswahili in between. So ideally, blockchain, just as I mentioned, is a collection of blocks interconnected. So the idea for now being called blockchain, let me just define the word block. So a block in this world, in this Web3 world, is a collection of transactions. Yeah, so a collection of transactions is called a block. Yeah, so these transactions are stored in a distributed ledger. This is a storage location for transactions. So blocks are stored in a distributed ledger. So blockchain is the general term now, blockchain is a collection of blocks that are stored on distributed ledgers. Yeah, forming a very big ecosystem whereby builders, developers can actually now build their applications on top of a blockchain. Yeah.
So is it right to call M-Pesa a blockchain?
M-Pesa, another great question. Yeah, so I think it's not right to call M-Pesa a blockchain, kwa sababu blockchains are written by smart contracts. Unaona? And for M-Pesa, it was created from a Web2 narrative. And unapata for blockchains, the way these platforms are created, they are created using smart contracts. And smart contracts, in a layman's term, I can talk of it as the creation of codes through laws. Like who confine sharias by codes. Yeah, so that's a smart contract. Yeah.
And I think that explains where Ethereum comes in.
Exactly. So Ethereum is the motherland of and the powerhouse of smart contracts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys are also asking, what is Ethereum?
Amazing. Another solid question and a fantastic question.
Yes.
So you find that back then when Satoshi created Bitcoin, one of the main reasons Satoshi created Bitcoin was because at the time kulikuwa na kitu inaitwa bank runs. Bank runs is the process whereby majority of the users in the world wali lose trust kwa the banks. So they had to withdraw their funds. And when over 80% of users in a specific bank, let me say 80% of cooperative bank users, waende wa withdraw pesa zao kwa bank, that process is called a bank run. So banks zilikuwa in panic. Inflation was in the roof. Life was super tough at the moment. There was a lot of lootings and a lot of many...
I think that was during the 2008 financial
crisis. Yeah, correct. So Satoshi decided to create Bitcoin just to solve the money problem. And ukiangalia the Bitcoin white paper at the Genesis block, the first block of Bitcoin transaction, it was there is a phrase written, the first bailout of the banks. So Bitcoin bailed out the banks at that time. But when Satoshi created Bitcoin, it was not perfect, because if it's human created, meaning it's not perfect.
Yes.
So it had its own weaknesses, whereby Bitcoin could not scale beyond being just a payment infrastructure. So beyond payments and transactions, there was nothing else most of the Bitcoin developers could build. Now, on this developer world saizi, kuna games, people are building games. Yeah, people are building arts, marketplaces, they're building all these platforms. And on Bitcoin, you couldn't do that. So there was lack of scalability, lack of Bitcoin to scale beyond just being a payment infrastructure. And that is why a very powerful and a very genius NAD cryptographer known as Vitalik Buterin, one of the first contributors to Bitcoin, waliona like, man, there's a lot of weakness up. In the future, Bitcoin will not be sustainable to power other platforms like gaming, NFTs, a lot of other marketplaces and decentralized applications. Bitcoin could not power that. And that's why Satoshi decided to inherit. He first inherited the tech stack of Bitcoin, but aka decide kutumia smart contracts. Because Bitcoin is not created by smart contracts. Bitcoin is created by low-level languages. Low-level languages meaning your thinking should be machine code thinking. Kwa watu wa tech, most of the guys, let me say in university when you wako na a tech background, wanaelewa things to do with binary, zeros and ones. That is low-level thinking. So Bitcoin was a low-level thinking ecosystem, and it was made simple to be secured. But you've heard about Bitcoin miners. What wanna mine Bitcoin?
Yes.
They have these big machines zinatoshana kama generator. So those Bitcoin miners are actually championing the security of Bitcoin. And we have miners all over the world. Over 50,000 Bitcoin miners are currently. But so there was lack for scalability because we cannot just be building payments that we are solving cross-border payments. Pesa itatokaje Kenya to Uganda. That has already been solved. So there is need to also build other stuff, and that's why Vitalik decided to come up with Ethereum. Yeah, so Ethereum was like a solution to the Bitcoin problem of scalability. Yeah.
Very good. Well explained.
Yes.
Let me take you back now in the beginning.
Yes.
How do you find yourself at HackQuest?
I've been with HackQuest for the past 8 months, but I was officially onboarded as a full-time employee to HackQuest on January this year. And yeah, just to answer a quick question, EVM. So EVM is an acronym for Ethereum Virtual Machine. Yeah, Ethereum Virtual Machine.
EVM.
Yeah. So an EVM blockchain is an ecosystem that fully supports Ethereum functionalities. Like we have the likes of Ethereum, let me just say Ethereum. Then we have the likes of Avalanche. We have a bunch of EVM blockchains like CoDAO, the previous ecosystem that I was working with before being onboarded to HackQuest. So Core was also solving the Bitcoin problems, and Core was unlocking most of the Bitcoin utility problems. Yeah, so I've been with CoDAO since 2021. Yeah, so that's like around a journey of 3 years. And it's actually been the best journey I've ever experienced, because initially, and before I also joined CoDAO, I was not just lagging around. I was now, you see, with Bitcoin, I was a Bitcoin Core open source contributor. So open source contributor, what actually entails is that, for Bitcoin, Bitcoin has no single point whereby you're working under this person, and that. Yeah. So from the likes of that, with Bitcoin, I was just contributing to the GitHub software, and yeah, things to do with peer reviews and just contributing to the future of the protocol. And one of the best things that happened at the time back in 2019, 2020, let me say just Q4 2020.
During the COVID period.
Yeah, during the COVID period, I was contributing to some of the Bitcoin improvement proposals. And at that time, I really didn't expect what was going to happen because I just saw that I'm contributing because of the vision I've also foreseen for Bitcoin. I didn't actually know that it's going to pay me, and it's going to pay me big. So just by contributing to the protocol at the time, I sent a PR, an improvement, to actually be assessed by the software maintainers. And I never actually took a deep look into it, but coming a few, like 2 to 3 months after, my PR was merged, meaning it was configured to the Bitcoin protocol. And at the time, most of the Bitcoin developers were fully anonymous. There were no organizations that were funding Bitcoin open source developers. Like currently we have Human Rights Foundation. It's funding Bitcoin open source developers. We also have another organization called Chain Code Labs. At the time when I was contributing, there was no, these organizations were not there.
Okay, what's a PR?
A PR, that is for developers. A PR, you can talk of it as a peer review, or a pull request, or a push request.
What role does it play in Bitcoin?
Not generally in Bitcoin. That is a GitHub. It helps manage code, and it helps like if let me say me and you are working on to build a certain software, so you'll be sending PRs, and let me say we are a group of 3, or we are a group of 5. Yeah, so we have maintainers, like 2 of us are maintainers, then the 3 are just developers. So the developers will be pushing PRs or pulling them, but ideally they'll just be pushing their PRs for the maintainers to assess. And once everything is in line by the protocols of our software, the PRs are merged and configured as an improvement to the functionality of the system. So that's ideally about a PR.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so ideally at the time when my PR was merged, I didn't check. There was a comment sent on one of my GitHub repos to which I sent the PR. So the comment actually was I can't remember whoever sent it because the username, it was a funny username. You couldn't actually depict who was the original identity to the username. So he actually told me that hey Wycliffe, we've seen what you've done. So kindly just paste your wallet address on this section. So just by curiosity, I didn't expect anything. And I won't mention the figures I received.
It must be a handsome one.
It was a handsome one. A good
because you know it's always insinuated that people on this field,
yes.
people dealing with Bitcoin are moneyed.
Yes, correct.
So we will talk about that in a few, but go ahead, continue. After getting your drop in your wallet?
Yes, so once I pasted my Bitcoin address at the time, I didn't expect anything superstitious to happen because at the time I was using a decentralized wallet. So with the decentralized wallets, I used to store my assets on a USB key. And with that USB, you find that there was no notification that you've received anything. So I stayed with the USB for around 1 month and 2 weeks without checking it what's actually inside the account. But at one time when I was a bit curious just to check on why did this guy requested for my address, so I decided to check the address on my USB stick. So I powered my USB stick. At the time I was using Electrum wallet. For those who are deep familiar with Bitcoin, let me say for our viewers, they all know about Electrum wallet and how it's configured to the USB stick. So I powered up my USB stick, accessed my wallet, and a good amount was there. At the time, it really shocked me that I had to take a trip to Tanzania for around 8 months. That I mean,
you went for a vacation for 8 months.
8 months,
it must be a very good amount.
Ilikuwa fiti juu COVID bado ilikuwa imetuchapa tumekuwa lockdown.
Okay, at that time coin ilikuwa how much was one coin going for in Kenyan shillings?
Yeah, at that time it was around $22,000.
$22,000.
Yes.
In Kenyan shillings. One Bitcoin.
$22,000 hiyo time ilikuwa
kama
mita tatu 3 million, yeah.
Na walikudropia coin ngapi?
Hiyo siwezi sema for purposes of security.
Well, marafiki zako wataanza kuhitisha balloon.
Siwezi sema hiyo.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Yes. So what happened next?
So just after accessing the funds, it was a shock. It was a shock. I didn't expect that's how open source developers are being actually paid. But but after COVID, so ukapata new organizations zikakam. Sasa zina fund Bitcoin open source developers like Bitrust Builders. It's an open source initiative to fund Bitcoin open source developers and to sustain them. But the reason as to why there is also a high opportunity. Hata kwa naweza pea wase wanafanya tech courses. Like I can give them an advice. Find a time to check the Bitcoin code base on GitHub and find a way to start contributing. Kwa sababu unapata like the governments ideally under quantum computing, which is actually quantum computing is another sector in tech yenye ina compete to allocate more energy to like compromise. Mimi naweza sema they are trying to compromise the Bitcoin network. Kwa sababu unajua ideally the government tukiongelea sasa government ina believe on governance. That is the biggest belief of governance, of which pia mimi na prioritize governance kwa sababu inaleta a good framework to work on things.
Now,
but for Bitcoin,
you say if you talk about quantum, what comes into my mind is quantum entanglement, quantum physics, quantum, anything to do with quantum.
Yes.
So when you say quantum in a layman's language, you will explain to us what is this quantum?
Quantum is ideally energy. When I think about quantum, I think about energy.
So quantum computing is energetic computing.
Yeah, the allocation of computing resources.
Yes.
Like the CPUs, energies, GPUs are energy on a particular network. And it acts as a huge security to the network. So unapata Bitcoin saizi iko na a lot of terahashes. Terahashes, these are the energy extractions zenye zinatolewa kwa computational resources. So those are what it's safeguarding. So those are the resources that are safeguarding Bitcoin. So unapata quantum computing, it came about, saizi quantum computing iko focused to find a way to like break. They want to break a certain Bitcoin rule inaitwa ECDESA, elliptic curve digital signature, and it's the backbone of the security of Bitcoin. So quantum computing is so much focused on how can they crack the ECDESA. Na wakicrack ECDESA utapata sasa story manze itakuwa imeisha ya watu wa Bitcoin kwa sababu
ndio itakuwa imeenda sasa.
Those itakuwa zimeenda. They'll find a way to access our addresses and to with like we can lose our funds.
It's like hacking.
Yes,
they'll find a way to hack Bitcoin.
Exactly. And that's why there is need for Bitcoin open source developers. There is a difference between let me say I'm building a hotel management system. I'm building a game. That is totally different from someone contributing from a protocol developer. So kuna protocol developer and just a casual developer. So a casual developer who nimtoka focus could build games, could build maybe marketplaces, and could build two specific products. But as a protocol developer, in either you're on Bitcoin, either you are on Solana or any other blockchain, you really need to have a vision of whatever this blockchain is centered towards. Now, Bitcoin has a very powerful vision. Sometimes I got myself on my laptop like 22 hours a day. 22 hours a day. So I actually didn't sleep. Vitu nilikuwa nafanya ni power naps. Like for 20 minutes, I'm gone, nashtuka tena.
All these 24 hours ni nini ulikuwa unafanya exactly kwa computer?
See, ideally, Bitcoin is large. Now, apparently, we have over 900 contributors globally, and we still need more because quantum computing is coming fast. Your quantum computing is backed up by governments. So, unapata government is capable of allocating any amount of energy.
Yes.
If they are targeting something, they can allocate as much as
because they have all the resources.
And they have also funds.
Yes.
For us, we are limited to funds. But we are trying as much as possible to secure the Bitcoin protocol and also to have a vision, like the vision of Satoshi must prevail.
Yes.
So there is need to safeguard Bitcoin because Bitcoin bailed out the banks back in 2008. So there is no need to change the rules of Bitcoin. Let the rules be the way they are because I believe, you see, for Bitcoin, like Bitcoin mining, I can call it as a nuclear powered ecosystem because I see energy and allocated to Bitcoin. Even the governments know that it's quite a bit impossible to allocate the same energy. There was one phrase with a very, very cool guy, and I love rephrasing the same. Like if you want to hack Bitcoin, you just have to find a way to tap into the energy of the sun and channel that to compromise Bitcoin, of which it's impossible. But there is need for open source developers. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice explained. Now, in all this, you've talked about quantum and quantum being energy.
Yes.
Is there any link between quantum and AI?
Yeah, correct. So AI is fastening the quantum computing process. So there's a huge correlation between quantum computing and AI. Or for blockchain, one of the main pillars of blockchain is decentralization. Like we shouldn't have any single point of failure in any platform or in any ecosystem. But unapata AI, so AI is much focused on centralizing energy and power to bring energy at a single point. Naona sasa hizo unaona kuna vitu kama ChatGPT. Yeah, so ChatGPT server zake ziko at a single place. So that's where they are allocating all the energy and computation to that single point. But unapata for blockchain, if we have like a ChatGPT run on a blockchain, haitakuwa na a single storage point. Itakuwa na multiple storage point. Ndio hata hacker akikam kuhack. Utapata let me say kuna storage Kenya, kuna storage Tanzania, Uganda, nini. Huwezi hack hizo zote, utachoka. Sure. Na blockchain pia there is a rule in blockchain called Byzantine fault tolerance, whereby if you hack one point, the system automatically do away with the hacked point, na reconfigure again with the other existing points. So unapata hackers are always losers when trying to compromise Bitcoin and other blockchains ecosystem. But quantum computing, get enough energy, wanaweza change the rules of the game. Na wakichange sasa kuisha sisi.
So in short, sayo unasema Bitcoin is the most secure or the safest place of transaction right now. Digitally.
Correct. Digitally.
That gives it an allowance for fraudy deals.
I agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that is why, that is why the perception of most government entities and legal authorities, anytime you want to bring a product, like it's something that is really harming the Bitcoin developers and Bitcoin users, because they are all talking about eliminating the middleman, eliminating tax, eliminating this and that. But that is something the government haitawai kubali.
Because they survive on tax.
Yeah, and government is, I believe government is the biggest middleman, because government ina believe in governance. Because if you don't govern, that is why kutakuwa na money laundering.
Of course.
No. That is why kutakuwa na even cartels leveraging on Bitcoin to do illicit transactions. Yeah, so that is, there is need for governance. And I believe there is need for governance. Because on another point whereby nilikam kurealize we really need governance. Unapata sometimes wewe uko na hata Bitcoin, let me say you have hata 2000 Bitcoins in your wallet. Na familia yako ijui uko na Bitcoin hiyo yote, unaona? That is massive wealth. Yenye hata ukiwaachia, the next generation yako itakuwa fully sorted. So what if you maybe go somewhere, life is also not as we expect.
Yes,
you can
true.
just...
It's unpredictable.
It's unpredictable. So let me say we've lost you. You've passed. And you had all that amount of Bitcoin in your wallet. No one will ever recover them. After which party, which experts.
That sounds like a disadvantage of it.
That is a disadvantage. Yeah, how to recover wealth in case of the party being deceased. Yeah, so it's something that really needs government backing. So we need like insurance, Bitcoin insurances. And the government has to be in charge, legal authorities, because they are the safest, they are the only safest people like the majority of us believe in. Yeah, so there is need for insurance for Bitcoin. The other, when such scenarios occurs, there is a way we can recover assets, and the guarantors can benefit from the Bitcoin assets and the wealth that was left behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Now, what are the missions and projects that HackQuest is doing right now as we speak? And what is your role in it?
Oh, amazing. So as I said previously, so I'm a developer relations manager. No, a developer relations and community manager at HackQuest. So in HackQuest, our main ethos is to empower users, even non-tech users, from the basic skills of Web3 to the technical skills. So HackQuest currently we've partnered with over 30 blockchains. Yeah, so those are our biggest partners, over 30 blockchains. And we've prepared learning materials for all these blockchains, centered towards the beginner basic levels, even the Web3 basics, which is typically theoretical, up to the start of the technical skills, the intermediate skills, up to where one can build a fully fleshed project on a specific blockchain. And aside from that, HackQuest is also a hackathon hosting platform.
What's a hackathon?
Yeah, a hackathon, a good question. So a hackathon is an initiative whereby developers, computer developers or software developers compete to build projects.
Why do I need cybersecurity for my own personal life?
Yes, correct. So you need cybersecurity, first of all, to prevent yourselves from the basic hacking techniques. Like we mentioned previously, ulitumiwa link na packs full.
Oh, let me say the story again.
Yes.
I was trading. I was a trader for quite some time, since the year 2020, the end of 2020. So I had an account, this Paxful account. I was trading so well. And then it got to a time, I think 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line.
Yes.
I had traded for quite some time. So I didn't know I'll become a victim of fraud.
Yeah.
I traded, apparently the guy was Kenyan, but he scammed me with an American number.
Yes.
So after trading, I was selling the coin, he told me, this is the link for the payment, you just click it. I kind of hesitated for some time.
Yeah.
Contemplated for some time.
Yeah.
But he texted me. He asked me for my number, so he texted me directly on my WhatsApp with an American number. I said, okay, this is someone trusted. He sent the link, clicked the link. I couldn't access the account anymore. All my money have gone. The account has gone. And then this guy comes on my WhatsApp and texts me in Swahili. Umefundishwa kuishi Nairobi.
That is dangerous. So ideally, such techniques zinaitwa Trojan horses. So a Trojan horses is a fake news. Like, let me say, saizi nikutumie link. Click this link to redeem 1 million shilling and your life will change. Then nikupe a very powerful story of how your life is going to change. Nikutumie picha hapo me on my Benz and everything. Well, that's ideally how watu wanatandikwa hapa.
Hii ndio hii vijana wa forex wanafanya hii.
Sindio?
So vijana wa forex hakuna kitu trade wana trade.
Kuna wale real na the real guys are typically silent.
So hizi zenye tunaona hizi umekataa.
Hizi mimi nimekataa. Hizo majigambo na nini?
Huyu prince nini? Sammy boy.
Mimi sikubaliani nao.
All these people you say they are scams.
Au kwanza wanafanya watu wengi forex has risks and forex has the biggest risks you'll ever take because for forex like wewe unaona msee ana trade nini but ideally yeye alisha master his technique. Unaona? So maybe alisha collect his bucket of gold hata siku hizi maybe a trade but yeye anakuonyesha tu hapo nini anataka kukulua into the trading jam. Now wewe ukiingia hapo you don't know how to manage risks. So we set up everything. And the bad thing about forex, me, I'm not a participant of forex. I used to test it back then just to gain the skills. I have the skills. I can trade. I can set up a trade, and my trade can run. I also know how to predict where my profit will come. But who has a trade? Because one thing about trading, unaweza set up at 200,000 Kenyan shillings. But within 5 minutes, boom, account iko liquidated, uko zero.
Hiyo ilinifanyikia kwa Nairobi.
Yeah, exactly.
Hiyo pia ilinifanyikia. So it's one of the things I've experienced. Yeah, so take it away.
Yeah, ideally sasa me trading kitu ilinisaidia nayo ni hiyo just an analyst section. So for me hata nikitrade huwa na trade commodities, very hard assets like Bitcoin. Kwa sababu mimi nikitrade huwa naingia market hata with a perception of what will happen in the next 3 years. So there's a hold Bitcoin hata for 3 years.
So it's long term.
It's fundamental. That's now fundamental analysis. So the technical analysis, the fundamental analysis. Technical analysis ni analysis ya 4 hours what will happen to the market, 24 hours what will happen to the market, 1 week what will happen to the market. But the fundamental analysis ni in the next 2 years what will happen to the market. Now Bitcoin ukiassess for the past, anyone who has hold Bitcoin for like 4 years, 4 years, huo ni mtu amekula 100% profit. Ukiangalia previous history ya Bitcoin, mtu amehold for 4 years since 2010 till date. Assess the previous 4 years, entry point na exit point. Kila mtu amekula 100% profit.
So get rich quick is a pyramid scheme.
Kelele kabisa.
Get rich quick ni tuachane nayo. It's a pyramid scheme.
Pyramid scheme.
So dreamers, if you're a dreamer out there, you've heard it from the host's mouth.
Yes.
Get rich quick is a pyramid scheme. Expect to invest mahali upate pesa in a quick span of time, wachana nayo.
Yes, correct.
And there is where cybersecurity now falls in place.
Yes,
it
correct.
Protects your data from reaching these guys.
Reaching these guys because you have the knowledge. And you just don't click any random links. You know how to verify these links to know whether they are authentic or not. Yeah, from the likes of that. So
this also helps, before we continue,
Yes.
this also helps in companies to protect their data.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Kama for links, what I can advise, one of the biggest basic security measures, like we all know of HTTPS. Kuna HTTPS, hiyo ni Hypertext Transfer Protocol, na kuna HTTP. Zote ni Hypertext Transfer Protocol, but one is safe, the other one is not safe. Na hiyo ni kitu watu hawajui, ama hata mtu wa kawaida hawezi jua hiyo. So ukipewa link, na kuna HTTP, alafu link ianze ama facebook.com na kuna HTTPS.
So we don't check, we always not check.
Wewe una click tu. Sasa ile S, ile jiko na S, that is secured. Na ile nyimisha na P, hiyo unaweza finya hiyo link hivi na you open back door. maybe kwa social accounts zako ama bank accounts, kama watu wa mobile banking sana they are at risks to links. If you get a link yenye iko na aina HTTPS, iko tu na P, inaisha na P, it ends with P, aina S. Unapata the moment you click the link, ina open a back door to your social, your online bank accounts. And that is where the hacker might redeem your account and you'll never know about it.
True.
Yeah.
So what role is HackQuest playing to shape the future innovative and technological sphere?
Oh, amazing. Another solid question. Yeah, so HackQuest, first of all, we do have recommendations to accelerator programs. And we can recommend very well-furnished projects to grants. So this way we actually empower developers to keep on building and to keep on contributing to these emerging technologies. And one of the key pillars of HackQuest, just as I mentioned initially, to propel users from the basic skills of Web3 to the technical skills. Unajua aina haja ya Kenya tukue only traders. Sisi kazi yetu tu ni kubuy and sell, buying and sell. Why can't you also build these blockchains? And that is where HackQuest comes into play. So HackQuest is teaching builders how to build a project from scratch. Like, even if you're a basic beginner, my students out here kindly try and tap into the courses. These courses are fantastic. Me ningezipata nikiwa campus. Believe me, say me maybe ningekuwa maybe hata Dubai mahali nimechill. So ningepata hizi resources at my time. I really wished I got the HackQuest resources. When I was back, when I was just leaving high school, ningepata na hizi resources. I would have been a very powerful guy right now. Very nice. I still believe in myself. I'm at a great point. I'm at a great point scaling my life. But if the HackQuest resources would have been available
at that moment,
at that time when nilikuwa campus or just when I finished high school, we need to build. There's need for developers and specifically Web3 and blockchain developers from Kenya and Africa at scale. Yeah.
So, umepamba story ya Dubai, ukaniambia ulienda TZ. How does your day look like outside the technological world?
Outside the technological world,
out of the tech world, kabisa, out of work.
Yeah, so I'm one guy who napenda nature. Mimi hata Saturdays sana unaweza nipata game parks, museum. Napenda kustudy nature. Nature inanipea ile peace of mind kwa sababu weekdays inakuanga hectic. And the only day I'm off ni Saturday. Unajua watu wanaweza wana ukiwa remote. Ati wewe sasa unakula sosa. Hakuna sosa kwa sababu one thing with the remote work, ideally we have like on HackQuest company, it's like you're dealing with guys from different time zones of the world.
Yeah, true.
So unapata sometimes mtu kwao ni saa 9 usiku, saa 10 usiku. So maybe ukipewa wewe uitwe meeting saa 8 usiku. Utaambia bosi ati wewe
unafungua tu unaendelea.
So unapata lazima ukue proactive 24/7. 24/7 hata watu wanaweza ona huyu jamaa shaggy hair nini. Kwa sababu hiyo time actually it's limited. It's limited. Majority of the time uko tu kwa PC. Yeah.
So what would you tell that person who wants to join the tech startup or this cyber security world? What would you tell them? That one advice you would give them?
Mimi kwanza naweza pea guys one advice. Unajua ideally mtu akifikiria cyber security ama ufikirie Bitcoin or blockchain. Kitu kwanza watu wanafikiria ni do. And that is very dangerous. Believe me, after getting my grant, when one of my peers was merged, nilikuwa onboarded to CodeAO and I volunteered for 2 years.
Without pay?
Bila kulipwa.
Lakini si ulikuwa ushapata boom ya kudrive?
Hiyo ilikuwa boom, but tukatai unapata, like it was a boom, but ideally it's a painful journey. Hata Bitcoin I did it for around 3 years before ni get do. So mtu sidhani ati leo amekuja ati kesho anafaa ati anachapu hata 50k monthly. Sasa wewe uko sawa. Hapo unaweza kuja hata kama kwanza uko slow unaweza nyosha hata 5 years yako safi hata hujaona bila do.
So si rabu tunafikiria unajua it sounds posh, it sounds lucrative.
But for you to beat the game and to be ahead of other guys, unapata when you come into blockchain usikuje na haraka ati nataka sasa kuisomea ndio umeanza leo but wewe unataka kuallocate 35 hours per day ukiisoma utachoka kwa sababu kila kitu ni technical, you are a beginner.
Of course.
So me venye nilianzanga like I started with 20 minutes per day. So 20 minutes nilikuwa nasoma Bitcoin white paper. Ni a page 8, it's a pamphlet ya 8 pages, the Bitcoin white paper. But nilikuwa naisoma only for 20 minutes. Unapata niko kwa page moja tu 20 minutes. Naachana nayo 20 minutes kisha nimeachana nayo. So I did that for 1 month. The next month nikakuja nikajiambia now I need 1 hour. Unaona nisha feel the sense of 20 minutes. So nikaipiga 1 hour. Yani I went ahead nikaona the vision and I became hyper focused. I became hyper focused to now check on what's really happening. So unapata I did 1 hour, ikakamata point after like 5 to 6 months nikaanza kuallocate 3 hours. Unaona? So it reached a point whereby after like 2 years 24/7 it's a culture for me kwa machine just studying blockchain and understanding the space. But it was massive. Sasa niliforesee the vision and there was no looking back. So me, ideally, I came to the space and it's actually, let me just break it down now to an advice. Me, I came to the space. Ideally, my lecturer, and as I thank, if the lecturer will be watching, Clive Onsomu. Clive Onsomu ndiye alitufunzanga about Bitcoin akatuonyesha how anonymous it is. So I came to the space na ile anonymity, ile just to be disguised, to be anonymous on the internet, unaona? Ilikuwa kitu tamu sana. So for me, I came into the space not thinking about my stomach, but I was inspired by the technology. But so unapata majority saizi watu wanakuja blockchain wakifikiria tumbo yao. Hapo utafail.
Wazazi walijua ndio kitu unataka kusomea, wazazi wali accept.
Wazazi walijua, and let me say at a point I failed my parents. Sikuwa fail but my parents backed me up. Kuna time pia mimi nilisikamiwa. And I lost my family lost over $1 million Kenyan shillings. And that is really bad. Tulijipata kwa Ponzi scheme. What is the Ponzi scheme? Pyramid scheme.
Yes.
And me, anyone watching and as a test, like before you become a blockchain master, lazima ulitandikwa tukakaa chini.
So sisi ni big team sisi wote.
Hiyo ni big team. Lazima ulitandikwa tukakaa chini. So kulikuwa na hii platform ilikuwa inaitwa Kelly Group. I don't know who are the founders, but Kelly Group ilikam na knowledge ati there is some ukifungua Kelly Group it looks like Jumia. Iko na goods and services nini. So their document ilikuwa inasema ati Kelly Group is a big player to e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Kilimall, Konga, Jumia. So Kelly Group walikuwa wanatuambia ati the moment una click hizo products ati zinaji-update. Ati ukiklik let me say ni kiatu, inaji-update kwa database ya Jumia, inaji-update huko Amazon. Sasa ili tuingia manze. And these guys wali allocate do. Ni kama sasa mtu kuja na 10 million anasema hii 10 million nataka kuinvest kwa wase. Na weke my event nini. Unaona?
Kumbe ni plan.
Mkikuja mnapewa shati za Kelly Group nini. Sasa unaambiwa kuna VIP 1, VIP 2, 3 mpaka 5. So VIP 1 ilikuwa ya 6,000. Na mimi nilianza na VIP 1 ya 6,000. So wewe ukiupdate in a month unapata unachomoa hata 10,000.
Profit ya 4K.
Profit ya 4K na ni kuclick tu. VIP 2 18,000. Na after a month utapata VIP 2 itakupea kitu kama 25K.
Profit ya 6K.
Yes, correct. So VIP ya mwisho
7K I mean.
So VIP ya mwisho ilikuwa 350,000. Hiyo ni VIP 5. Na hii VIP 5 ukiclaim end month utatoka na kitu kama 500K, 540.
Hiyo
ni
ni
profit kama 150 plus. Unaona? Sasa mimi nilishikwa nishachapa VIP 1 na do tu yangu. VIP 1 nishachapa nikachapa VIP 2. Nikaona VIP 3 bado inabamba nikaingia VIP 3. VIP 3 unajua unaingia na 54,000. Na unatoka na 81.
Haraka.
So my parents nikawaambia kwa sababu nikirecruit msee inakaa na subsidy kubwa sana. Ile reward rebate inakuja kubwa sana. So nikamwambia my mom was my biggest supporter. My mom yeye alikuwa anafanya kazi. My mom alikuwa ni wholesaler but is a very big shoe wholesale hapa Gikomba, ana buy wholesale bales,
ana buy bale,
anauzia watu wanauza kwa uwanja. That is his work. How work ideally, and my dad was a hotelier manager. So walikuwa na ile do ya kuallocate.
Walikuwa save.
So kwanza my mama aliuliza mimi niko VIP ngapi, nikamwambia mimi niko VIP 3, nilisubscribe na 54. My mama kawekelea. My sister kuona hivyo ni nini?
Pia yakakelea. VIP 5 pia your sister.
My sister alikelea VIP 3 yenye niko ya 54,000.
Ya 54,000.
My aunt kuona hivyo, my aunt was a well. Well, economically yako sawa. Akakelea VIP 5 350.
So mom 350, auntie 350, sister 50.
Sasa unajua hiyo kitu ni dangerous kwa sababu you don't know the end point of this journey. Unaona? Sasa mimi kazi yangu ni recruit, ni ile reward. Na tuko wengi, guys are recruiting. Yani Kelly Group ilitandika watu hapa Kenya. Unaona? So at the time whereby there was a time sasa walikuwa wanasema ati they'll upgrade, they'll bring another VIP. Ile time tulienda ku upgrade hivi. At a single point in time, platform ikakuwa tu white. Nyaunyo. It was very dangerous.
How do you go back to explain this to your parents?
It was very dangerous.
Ulijificha siku kadhaa hapa, what really happened?
So that was the time me nika decide yenyewe nimefail wase kwa sana. Hata it's one of the times whereby nika move out. Move out at my mom's place. Nikaja tu bro yangu mdogo pale, sasa wewe room ni yako sasa tawala. But me nikaona nimefail watu. My sisters manze they no longer trust me. Watu sasa wabelieve, hakuna mtu anabelieve ati mimi naweza fanya job online. No one believed. But me nikajiambia ku research nikaona there have been similar cases in different parts of the world. So nikaona I'm not the first.
Of course.
And if kwa sababu mimi nishaona ile vision na hiyo time naona 1 Bitcoin sijui ni mamilioni ngapi. Nikaona this was just this is part of the journey.
Ulilipa school fees.
This is part of the journey.
Expensive school fees.
Nikaona like ideally this is just part of the journey. So nafa ku bring back my mind to what I was doing. Because that is not what I was doing. You do need time uko kwa internet ka ad kalipita. But $1 million opportunity Kelly Group, mimi nikai click. Ideally watu wengine wanasema nikapepo tu fulani kalipita. Nikakaguza. So that was it with Kelly Group, but at that time I trembled because financially I was drained. Kulikuwa na a lot of tension. Unajua umerecruit watu wengi. Na doi imepotea vibaya sana.
So when the enemy of people,
you are an enemy of people. But at your time watu ukienda kwa police cases and all that,
hakuna pali watakupeleka.
There was no,
wewe pia umeskamiwa.
Na unajua kama mtu anaona polisi hata msaidie, sasa anaona area kutandike.
So uliwekewa wanted.
So there was a wanted, unaona vitu kama hizo. It was really dangerous at the time. Really dangerous. I don't know what has happened. I'm a big victim.
At this time you had joined the tech school.
Yes, I had already joined the tech school.
You had already graduated.
Yeah, but sasa unajua ile una do.
Sasa unajaribu kila kitu.
Unajaribu everything.
Hustler nation.
Na pia pale Bitcoin bado unasoma but hii Kelly Group ilikuja simamisha kidogo. Kelly Group was like a lesson for me to learn. Sasa ideally, but singepatana na Kelly Group, I think bado I would still have been focused on the right things that I was doing, like to contribute to the Bitcoin protocol and to become a developer. That was the vision, and to secure the network. Vision haikuwa hii ati pesa za haraka unaona. Yeah.
And I think that has answered the question I wanted to ask you. What are the problems you are trying to solve with your knowledge? Like Nushasema.
Yes,
already. Yes. So I think our time is also even running up. Yes. And we have a lot to talk about. Hata tujafika nusu.
Yes.
But do you advise someone who wants to invest out there? This is a very good thing to invest in.
I cannot say.
Now talking to an investor now.
When I'm talking to an investor, I think first of all I can tell him or her that this is not financial advice. It's not a financial advice, but based on empirical data, whatever I've recorded and seen on the Bitcoin history since 2010 till date, Bitcoin is a deflationary asset. It's been a store of value. Trump aliendorsed. Trump was campaigning with Bitcoin. Yeah, and it brought a lot of institutional adoption to Bitcoin. So it's a good stuff, a store of value, and it may supersede Bitcoin has superseded Amazon, Unaona, in terms of net worth, ime supersede a lot of our big companies. So a lot of the liquidity is gonna be delegated to Bitcoin. Unaona, so investors saizi wanapata it's good for their assets to be safeguarded on Bitcoin. Kwa sababu one thing with Bitcoin, oje saizi, let me say hata saizi uko na 20 million. Iko bank, ukienda kutoa 15 million, hata bank manager ataitwa. Wakukalishe chini wakwambie manze,
mbona unataka kutoa ido?
Usitoe ido. Usijaribu kuuza ido. But Bitcoin hata kama uko na 100 million,
unaitoa tu.
Transact it anytime within seconds.
Na transact it anywhere, si bado utaenda bank. Huwezi pata pesa in cash. Yezi ingia kwa M-Pesa, mobile wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have just to go to the bank at the end of the day.
It's not all about the bank. The bank sasa itakusaidia kunini kama unaitaka cash. Yeah, but pia kuna other trusted entities, exchanges kama Binance. Binance is an exchange. Na Binance saizi inaweza kusaidia on a daily basis, unaweza toa hata like as a tier 1 KYC unaweza toa, let me say, over 5 million Kenyan shillings kwa Binance. Which bank ni ngumu.
Hawezi. Hata 1 million uta-explain, utakalishwa.
Bank ni ngumu. Na ukiweka hadi KRA pin kwa Binance, sasa wewe unaweza chomwa hata 20 million sasa. So unapata kuna hizi platforms already they are there to help us of ramp our money to cash and to M-Pesa. Yeah, so the solution has already been made. So as an investor, I can recommend that if you want the best benefits in the future, this is not at a 1 month thing or in the next 1 year at utapata this amount apana. If you have your Bitcoin, it's a store of value. Your value is retained. Haita suffer from inflation. Oje saizi kama Thao, ukiangalia Thao back in 2017.
Umepungua makali.
Thao ilikuwa inajaza Urubag bwana.
Of course, sahi.
Saizi ukienda na Thao ile Urubag ya 10. Mbili tatu Thao imeisha.
Unga 3
exactly.
Na sukari moja na mafuta ya kupika.
But ukiangalia the value of Bitcoin, it has been progressively increasing over time. Yeah, so it's a good asset to allocate your liquidity up. Either lose liquidity. It can lose liquidity in the next month and in the next few months. But if you have a fundamental projection on the future of Bitcoin, Bitcoin ain't fail anyone. 100%, and it's one of the reasons why Trump has signed executive order to endorse Bitcoin as a legal tender and as a recognized asset in the USA. So USA imekubali. Sasa kwa nini tunakataa?
Yes. I was watching a documentary. I was seeing some Bitcoin vending machines, ATMs.
Yes.
And they are more so used in El Salvador.
Yes, correct.
Have the technology also reached here?
For the ATM machines,
yes.
I can say that saizi there was a proposal for an ATM machine, but for me, from my experience, bado sijaona an ATM machine. But what I know, kuna Bitcoin miners in Kenya. There's kuna company inaitwa Gridless. Gridless is a solo mining company mining Bitcoin in Kenya. Wako pale Hell's Gate, they are using hydroelectric power.
Hell's Gate Naivasha.
Hell's Gate Naivasha. If you want to visit, they won't charge you anything. They are actually empowering users also to become Bitcoin miners. Na kuna ingine iko hapa Murang'a watu hawajui. Gridless wameleta branch ingine hapa Murang'a ya kumine Bitcoin.
So easy Bitcoin what unazimine in the company ama individuals, like people can go and mine them? You
can mine them, but the machines are the machines are cheap. We have a machine called a BTAX machine. It's like 26,000 worth of cash, Kenyan shillings. So if you buy the BTAX machine, kwa sababu a few months ago tuliona a Bitcoin miner akitumia BTAX machine moja ya 26,000. Aliwin around 6 Bitcoins. Now one Bitcoin at the time was 10 million. Akawin 6.
You need 60 million.
Yeah, so as 26,000 Kenyan shillings worth of machine can help you win that amount. So what if?
So how long did it take him to win this amount?
It took him quite some time. Kwa sababu the probability for you to win a Bitcoin block, it all depends with the amount of energy umeallocate to like solve. There's a lot of mathematical problems.
Energy is power.
Energy is power.
Sitima.
Yes, correct.
So it uses a lot of power.
Yeah, alafu pia electricity costs. Electricity bill, it's super insane. Like one of my friends in Rwanda akona machine ikona 110 terahash. Na daily analipa the power provider 5,000 Kenyan shillings. So it runs like a generator and it consumes more than a generator. So where lazima financially go sustainable for you to now begin mining.
So the machine is not the problem. It is the power that the machine is going to use.
Electricity costs. But any solutions such as solars are coming into play.
Green energy.
Green energy is coming into play. And that is why gridless wanatumia hydroelectric. Pale kwa sababu ukijaribu na KPLC.
Umepitandikwa.
Utauza hata hiyo machine ulipe stima. Ni dangerous. Ni very dangerous. But my biggest advice is we really want like Kenyan universities and Kenyan students to learn Web3 education through HackQuest. Me nikikame into space, sikikuwa na a point whereby I can learn. But then I was just depending on the resources tulikuwa tunapewa campus hapa university. And ideally venye niliziona hizo hazikuwa well structured. Kwanza hazikuwa well structured in a well structured format.
So most of it unasema ni self taught.
Most of it ni self taught. Me Google sijui nimegoogle vitu mingi sana. Niko na a lot of documents and one of the best things about me kitu kinibamba nilikuwa naenda na print. Like in my house I have a bunch of heaps of papers. Nimeziprint na nikazifile. Yeah, so I've powered myself with innovation. I've powered myself with knowledge and I've really invested knowledge in myself. Yeah, I have a bunch of files over 20 files.
And you still study?
I still study.
You are not an expert yet?
There is no expert in blockchain. But we only have guys who are experienced. Like kuna watu wakikama wasimame hivi, they start talking. You really wonder how the hell did this guy gain all these? It's consistency. Yeah, consistency doesn't mean 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. No, 20 minutes a day. Compared to mtu leo amekuja akasoma kitu 8 hours. Na wewe umepiga 20 minutes daily. Yeye ameisoma in 1 week, ameisoma for 8 hours siku moja. Na wewe umeisoma 20 minutes daily. Wewe mtu mkikaa chini ku explain the same thing, utamsupersede. Of course. Kwa sababu wewe umekuwa consistent. Yeye alisoma tu siku moja na hata unaweza pata kuwa anashikanisha anasoma nini. Yeah. So the whole idea of blockchain is to become consistent. Yeah, in whatever you're doing.
Sawa. Tukimaliza one last question.
Yes, correct.
Where do you see Kenyan tech industry in the next 10 years?
Oh, amazing. Kibaki left us with a vision called Vision 2030.
Yes, it's just a few years away.
Yeah, correct. And I see Vision 2030 is going to prevail. Because there's something really funny about Kenya. Me na foresee Kenya as an open source country. Wajua there is an open source. Kwa tech kuna kuanga na kitu inaitwa open source software. This is a software that everyone can contribute. Na Kenya imejiacha open source. All countries are contributing to the innovation of Kenya.
Yes.
So Kenya is scaling fast. In terms of East Africa, Tanzania iko nyuma sana kwa blockchain. My dad lives in Tanzania. I've been in Tanzania for quite some time. As one of the reasons nilienda Tanzania. Yeah, I've been in Tanzania for quite some time. Their tech iko nyuma. Time sisi huku tunacheza PS4. Tanzania ilikuwa inacheza PS2. Hata ukiambia hata wajaona PS3 bado. Wako nyuma.
Hapa sasa kuna vita mtandaoni between Kenyans na Tanzania, ujue hivyo. So ukisema hivyo wanakuambia wewe jamaa ule msenge jamaa hayo wasema nini bana.
But one very good thing with the Tanzanians are willing to learn.
Yes.
Wako ile self-driven. Unaona?
Yes, they have the spirit of learning.
Kenya tuna analyze vitu sana. Unaletewa product and an innovation, but you are so much focused on analyzing. And too much of analysis turns into paralysis.
Of course.
By the time unakuja kuiadapt, watu wamesonga kusonga.
Of course.
And one of the reasons unakumbuka we had Worldcoin in Kenya.
Yes.
Worldcoin was a very powerful innovation. And yet it's halted. US ilikataa, but saizi US imeadapt Worldcoin. They even signed there's a Worldcoin US. But Kenya tumeiban completely hatuitaki.
Worldcoin, it was a good thing for us.
The best thing in Kenya. One of the best. Worldcoin is also among the best products zenye mimi nimeona so far. Kwa sababu on a protocol standpoint, mimi nimesoma Worldcoin on a protocol standpoint. What Worldcoin is doing, sometimes ukienda kwa internet, inakwambia prove you're a human.
Yes.
Verify captcha,
yes.
click the traffic lights and everything. that is in a waste a lot of time. So
hii unachungulia tu.
World Coin, at the moment, one thing I think the government, I read the forensics report. Yeah, wakasema the product is safe. But so the bad thing about I can't not say it's a bad thing, but one thing is that the rewards yenye World Coin users wanna receive, you cannot tax them. So I see that as one of the fundamental reasons as to why it was halted in the country. The government wants a way they can also govern the WorldCoin network. And the WorldCoin was created to be a distributed network. No one can govern it. Yeah, so you can only contribute to it. You cannot govern it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Tukimalizia,
yes.
I always want to leave my guests to leave me with one last question I will ask my next guest. Yes. It doesn't matter in which topic, which area. Yes. Just one question that you would want me to ask my next guest. You see?
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
And there was a question that was left in my previous episode.
Yes.
It was about money.
Money, correct.
Money.
Yes.
Let me read it. What is your take on money, and how much importance do you regard it in your daily life?
Okay. What is my take on
money, and how much do you regard it in your daily life?
I think money for now is one of the biggest pillars that I think there is need for financial freedom on a global scale. Like one things I noticed, like even in campus, in university students, on a psychology standpoint, pia mimi nimefanya psychology because information security and forensics, we did psychology, sociology and everything. And there is one guy anaitwa one psychologist alisema the higher needs of your life cannot be reached, and you cannot reach your full potential and fulfill your dreams unless your basic needs are met, are settled. So kama bado uko na issue ya food, shelter and clothing, ni ngumu sana reach your full potential.
True.
Yeah, so that's why money is super important. Hata for protocol developers and blockchain developers. Kama bado uko so much focused na your basic needs, manze ni ngumu kwe hyper focused na progressive. Lazima usettle kwanza basic needs, ujiambie tu wenyewe manze basic needs, rent, food na clothing, it's not an issue for me. Then Apple you can become hyper focused. Exactly. So money is a fundamental piece in life. Yeah. So there's need for financial freedom. Exactly.
So the second part of the question, how much do you regard it in your daily life? I think you've answered it in a more sophisticated way, but in just a simple way, how much do you regard it in your daily life?
In my daily life, your question niko chonjo. How much do I regard it in my daily life?
Because there have been questions before that money is the cause of all, the roots of all evil.
The roots of all evil.
All evil.
Yeah.
The same money has been said it answereth all prayers.
Yes.
According to the scriptures, the Bible.
Yeah.
So if I ask you what is the importance of it, how much do you regard it in your daily life? I don't know how you see it or how you would explain it.
Me kwa sababu I've been much on I come from a security standpoint and a positive standpoint. I never have illicit use of money. And one of the reasons kila mtu hawezi kuwa rich kwa sababu mtu mwingine atapewa millions. Sasa ndiye aenda kwa the biggest cartel atujai, yani the biggest of the biggest. Unaona? So it all depends with each and everyone's perception. So the phrases are there, but for me it contributes a lot. A lot in my life. Siwezi give a specific percentage, but I regard it a lot in my life.
So yeah. I've gotten one point that I will also use in my life.
Yes.
Money is important because it meets your daily needs, and once your daily needs are met, it is higher. I don't know the kind of English I should use.
Yes.
in order to fulfill your exponential potential,
Yes.
it is a fundamental tool.
Exactly. Correct. It's a fundamental tool or a pillar.
Yes,
in life.
to meet your exponential potential.
Yes.
Very
correct.
good. And now, what is your question that you need me to ask my next guest? I don't know who she will be or who he will be, but any question in any topic in life.
Okay, so I think let me just center it towards blockchain. If the next guest on the podcast will be on tech, center it to a tech person, but even an untech can answer it. You can just ask them, should Kenya, should Kenya as a country set their reserves on Bitcoin? Yeah. Should we as a country have our reserves as Bitcoin?
Good.
Yeah.
That's the last question. Asante sana.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
it's been a blessing. I think this conversation hatuwezi imaliza.
Yes, correct.
Hata tujafika nusu.
Bado, it's just getting started.
So I'm also going to have my humble time research a little bit.
Yes.
And research about everything that your company does.
Yes.
And then when next we meet, now we'll go deep into that question. Sasa tujue vile coins zinamainiwa, vile tuna make do every day, vile tutashinda kwa computer 24 hours tukitengeneza pesa, and many more.
But Hackquest is focused on builders, to have builders. Yeah.
Very right, very right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for staying tuned all this while. It's been a blessing day. It's been a wonderful moment. Just talking to someone who with such an intelligence always keep me on the loop. And I love so much to always, I'm always curious to know more about the world and more about everything in life.
Yes.
Not only Bitcoin, everything in life.
Yeah, everything in life.